In the endless dark between stars where time stretched thin and silence ruled, the Jara warship Kethra hung motionless above a small blue planet. Its hull, black as void and veined with soft silver light, pulsed like a sleeping heart. Inside, Commander Vela stood alone on the upper observation deck, her tall frame still, her forearms folded gently across her chest. Her skin, the color of twilight, shimmered faintly with shifting silver patterns. Calm now, but ready to flare with emotion. Her eyes, large and violet, watched the world below with a stillness that hid a storm within. Earth. Designation Sol 3. Target Class Omega. Judgment Dangerous Life. Eradication authorized. The words had come from the High Council 3 solar cycles ago. Intercepted signals, radio bursts, digital chatter, video fragments, had painted a picture of chaos. Wars fought over lines on maps, oceans choked with waste, skies thick with smoke, cities rising and falling like tides. To the Jara, whose society valued order, logic, and purity above all, such a species was a threat not just to itself, but to the balance of the galaxy. They had seen it before. Civilizations that burned bright and fast, then exploded outward in violence, dragging others into their ruin. Earth, they decided, would not be allowed to reach that point. Vela had accepted the mission without question. She was a loyal commander, decorated for her precision and past purifications. She believed in the doctrine. Dangerous life must be removed before it spreads. It was not cruelty. It was mercy on a cosmic scale. But now, as she watched Earth turn beneath her, its clouds swirling in slow, dreamlike spirals, its continents stitched with green and gold, its nights glittering with human-made stars, something stirred in her that she could not name. She activated the deep scan array. Streams of data flowed into her neural link. Population 8.1 billion, languages over 7,000, belief systems thousands more, scientific output accelerating, artistic expression immeasurable. She saw images. Children building sandcastles, doctors working through the night, farmers planting seeds in red soil, musicians playing in rain-soaked streets. She saw grief, yes, but also laughter, not just survival but celebration. Then she saw Lily. Lily lived in a small coastal town in California. She was 24, with sun-bleached hair and hands always stained with salt water and sand. She worked at a marine rescue center, caring for sea turtles injured by fishing nets or poisoned by plastic. Vela watched her for hours through passive observation drones, tiny invisible eyes that floated in the atmosphere, recording without interfering. Lily spoke to the turtles as if they understood. She sang old songs while cleaning their shells. When one died, a young loggerhead with a cracked carapace, Lily sat on the dock for an hour, tears mixing with ocean spray. But the next morning she was back, feeding a new patient. Her voice soft, her touch gentle. She asked for nothing in return. No reward, no fame, only the chance to help something weaker than herself. Vela had never seen such behavior outside of Jara Kinbon's. And even then, it was governed by duty, not choice. This was different. This was freely given, illogical, beautiful. Her internal conflict grew. The sterilization protocol was simple. The Kethra carried bio-neutralizers, nanite clouds designed to dismantle complex neural structures while leaving plants, microbes, and ecosystems intact. In under an hour, all sentient life on Earth would cease, painlessly, cleanly. The planet would heal, green and quiet, ready for new life in a million years. All Vela had to do was press the confirmation rune, but her fingers hovered, her second in command. Kor entered the chamber. He was broader than Vela, his silver markings sharp and angular, his eyes cold. "Commander," he said, his voice like grinding stone. "The Council demands execution. Your delay is noted in the log." Vela did not look at him. "I am verifying final parameters." "There is nothing to verify. The data is clear. Emotional instability, resource depletion, weapon proliferation. They are a plague waiting to bloom. And yet," Vela said softly, "they plant trees whose shade they will never sit under. They write letters to future generations they will never meet. They risk their lives to save strangers," Kor scoffed. "Sentiment. Weakness dressed as virtue, or strength disguised as fragility," she countered. Before Kor could reply, the ship's alert system chimed. A signal had been detected, weak but deliberate. Earth had seen them. Vela's pulse quickened. Human technology was primitive. Their fastest ships took months to reach their own moon. Yet they had sensed the Kethra's presence, not through weapons or scans, but through anomalies in their magnetic field, distortions in radio waves. They were clever, observant, and now they were responding. A small vessel had launched from a coastal facility, no bigger than a Jara scout pod. It carried no armaments, only a single transmission pod broadcasting on open frequency. Vela authorized reception. On the main view screen, a woman appeared. Her name, according to the metadata, was Olivia. She stood in a plain room with white walls and a window showing a rainy street. She wore a simple blue shirt, her dark hair pulled back. Her hands were clasped, but not tightly. She looked afraid, yes, but also resolute. To whoever is out there, she began, her voice steady despite the tremor beneath it. We don't know who you are or why you've come, but we've seen your ship. We've studied the data, and if you're here to judge us, please let us speak before you decide. She took a breath. Rain tapped against the window behind her. We know what we've done. We've hurt our world. We've hurt each other. We've made terrible choices, but we're not just our worst moments. Every day people choose kindness. Nurses hold the hands of the dying. Teachers spend their own money on school supplies. Neighbors share food during storms. Scientists work for cures, not weapons. Artists make beauty from pain. Her eyes glistened. We're messy. We're flawed. But we're trying. And trying matters. She leaned closer to the camera as if speaking directly to Vela. If you erase us, you erase Lily, who saves turtles. You erase Maria, who teaches kids to read in war zones. You erase James, who gives his lunch to a homeless man every Tuesday. You erase the songs, the stories, the hope that tomorrow can be better. Is that really what you want? The transmission ended. The chamber was silent. Core broke it first. Clever, they appealed to emotion. A classic survival tactic. Vela turned to him. Is it survival if they gain nothing? They know they can't fight us. This message changes nothing for them, unless we choose to let it. You're letting them inside your mind, Core said, his voice low and dangerous. That is how corruption begins. Or how understanding begins, Vela replied. She walked to the command console. Her fingers moved over the glyphs. The sterilization sequence glowed red, ready. Core stepped forward. Do not do this, Vela. You will be branded a traitor, exiled, worse. Then let it be so, she said. And she canceled the sequence. Alarms blared. Red lights swept the walls. The ship's A intoned. Protocol override confirmed. Sterilization aborted. Core's eyes widened in fury. He drew his neural disruptor. A weapon that could shut down a Jara's nervous system in seconds. You have betrayed the Jara. Vela moved faster than thought. 2 of her arms disarmed him. The other 2 activated the containment field. Energy bars snapped into place around Core, trapping him. He roared, pounding against the barrier, but it held. She opened a channel to the High Council. Their faces appeared. 12 elders, their silver markings rigid with authority. Commander Vela, the lead elder intoned. You have disobeyed direct orders, explain. Vela stood tall. I have observed Earth not as a threat, but as a possibility. They are not perfect. But they are becoming. And becoming deserves time. Becoming what? Another elder snapped. Destroyers? Conquerors? Or healers? Creators, protectors, I have seen both. And I choose to believe in the latter. You place faith in chaos, the lead elder said coldly. You are relieved of command. Return immediately for judgment. Vela bowed her head once. I cannot. She severed the link, then she did something no Jara had ever done. She sent a message back to Earth. This is Commander Vela of the Jara vessel Kethra. Your world will not be harmed. Guard it well. You are worth more than you know. On Earth, in California, Lily looked up from the turtle tank. The strange star that had hung in the sky for days was fading. She didn't know why, but a warmth spread in her chest. She whispered, Thank you, though she didn't know who she was thanking. On the Kethra, Vela released Core from containment, but locked his command codes. He glared at her, silent now, defeated. You will log what happened, she told him. Truthfully, let the council know it was my choice alone. He nodded stiffly. Pride would not let him lie. Vela then set a new course, not toward Jara space, but into the uncharted rim, the outer edges of the galaxy where few ships dared to go. She would be hunted, branded, perhaps destroyed, but she would not return to a system that called mercy weakness. As the Kethra's engines hummed to life, Vela watched Earth shrink on the view screen. She thought of Lily's hands, Olivia's voice, The rain on that window, the turtles swimming free. She thought of all the unnamed humans doing small, brave things every day. They were not dangerous. They were alive. And life, in all its messy, glorious forms, was sacred. The ship leapt into warp, folding space around it. Behind her, Earth continued its slow dance around the sun, unaware of how close it had come to silence. But Vela knew, and she would see. Months passed. The Kethra drifted through the outer rim, far from Jara patrols, far from human space, far from everything. Vela had rerouted all power to stealth systems, dimming the ship's bioluminescent veins until it was little more than a shadow against the stars. She lived alone now. Kor had been placed in stasis after he tried to sabotage the life support, his loyalty to the Council stronger than his will to survive. She did not hate him. She pitied him. He could not see beyond doctrine. Vela spent her days studying human archives, music, films, books, scientific papers, anything she could download before severing ties with the network. She learned about jazz, about haiku, about the way humans named constellations after myths. She watched footage of snow falling in Minnesota, of festivals in India, of a girl in Nairobi building a robot from scrap metal. Each clip chipped away at the old certainty that order was the only path to peace. But peace felt different now. It wasn't silence, it wasn't emptiness, it was connection. Even messy, imperfect connection. One night, or what passed for night in the endless dark, she received a faint signal, not from Earth, not from Jara space, from a derelict station near the nebula of Kalis. The signal was weak, repeating in a loop. Help. Survivors. No weapons. Please. Vela hesitated. Helping strangers was not Jara practice. But something in the voice, tired, desperate yet still trying, reminded her of Olivia. She altered course. The station was old, human-made but abandoned years ago. Now it was patched with makeshift panels, solar sheets fluttering like broken wings. As the Kethra approached, 3 small ships, barely more than cargo haulers, rose from the station's bay. They formed a loose triangle, not to attack, but to warn. A voice crackled over open channel. Unidentified vessel, this is Captain Maeve Rios of the Free Colony Persephone. State your intent. Vela activated her translator. I mean no harm. I heard your distress call. Silence. Then, you're not human. No, Vela admitted. But I am not your enemy. After a long pause, Maeve agreed to speak face to face. They met in a neutral docking bay. Maeve stepped out first, tall, lean, with copper skin and eyes that had seen too much. She wore a patched jacket and carried a tool, not a weapon. Behind her stood 2 others, a young man named Leo and a woman named Grace, both wary but not hostile. Vela emerged slowly, her forearms open, palms visible. I am Vela of the Jara, she said. I come alone. Maeve studied her. Jara, the purifiers? I was, Vela said. Not anymore. She explained briefly. Earth, the choice, the exile. She did not ask for trust, only a chance to help. Maeve exchanged glances with her crew. Then she nodded. Our reactor's failing. We've got 37 people on board, mostly kids, a few elders. We ran from corporate slavers 6 months ago. This station's all we have. Vela followed them inside. The station was cramped, warm, alive with the hum of recycled air and the murmur of voices. Children peeked from behind bulkheads. An old man played a fiddle in a corner. The walls were covered in drawings, stars, animals, smiling faces. It was chaos, and it was beautiful. Vela spent the next 3 days repairing the reactor. Her knowledge of energy systems far exceeded theirs. She rerouted power cells, stabilized the core, even installed a Jara filtration unit to clean their water. In return, they gave her food, real food, not nutrient paste. Bread baked that morning, soup with vegetables grown in hydroponic trays. She ate slowly, savoring flavors she'd never known. At night, Maeve sat with her on the observation deck. a cracked dome patched with clear resin. "Why help us?" Maeve asked. "You don't owe us anything." Vela looked at the stars. "Once I believed life had to be perfect to deserve to live. Now I know it only has to try." Maeve smiled faintly. "We try, every damn day." They talked for hours. Maeve told her about the slavers, corporate fleets that raided colonies for labor, selling people like cargo. She told her about Grace, who had lost her family to a mining accident, and Leo, who taught the kids math using star charts. They weren't heroes, just people refusing to break. Vela realized something then. Earth wasn't unique. Humans were, scattered across the rim not as conquerors but as survivors, builders, dreamers. They carried their flaws, yes, but also their kindness like seeds in the wind. On the fourth day, alarms blared. "Slaver patrol," Leo shouted, running in. 3 ships, armed. They must have tracked our signal. Panic spread. Parents gathered children. Grace sealed the lower decks. Maeve turned to Vela, her face grim. "You should go. They'll destroy you if they see you're alien." Vela stood. "Or they'll destroy you if I leave." Before Maeve could argue, Vela returned to the Kethra. She powered up the weapons, not to kill but to protect. The Jara warship, long silent, roared to life. The slaver ships arrived fast, sleek, black, marked with the sigil of Kronos Corp. They opened fire on the station without warning. Plasma bolts scorched the hull. Vela moved like lightning. The Kethra darted between the station and the attackers, its shields absorbing the blasts. Then she fired, not at the ships, but at their engines, precise, disabling shots. One ship spun out, dead in space. Another lost thrusters. The third tried to flee. She locked onto it with a tractor beam. On the comms, a furious voice yelled, "Who are you? This is Kronos property." Vela's voice was calm. "There is no property in people. Leave, now, or I will dismantle your ship piece by piece." Silence. Then, the ship powered down. Maeve stared from the station window, stunned. "You saved us." Vela landed the Kethra gently. "I did what was right." That night, the colony held a small celebration. Not for victory, but for survival. They shared stories, songs, a cake made from rationed sugar. A little girl named Eli handed Vela a drawing, a purple lady with 4 arms, standing between a blue planet and a broken ship, with a sun behind her. "That's you," Eli said shyly. "You're our guardian." Vela's silver markings glowed softly, warm, bright, full of something new. Pride, joy, love. She didn't know the word yet, but she felt it. The next morning, Maeve found her packing supplies. "You're leaving?" "I can't stay," Vela said. "My presence puts you at risk. The Jara will keep hunting me, and Kronos will send more ships." Maeve nodded. "Then take this." She handed Vela a small data chip. "It's a map. Hidden human outposts, safe zones, rebel networks. Places where people help each other. Maybe you can help them too." Vela accepted it. "Thank you." As she walked to her ship, the whole colony gathered to see her off. No grand speeches, just waves, smiles, a chorus of "thank you," whispered like a prayer. The Kethra lifted off, quiet and strong. But Vela didn't return to the void alone. She had a new mission now, not to judge life, but to protect it. Wherever it flickered, however faintly, weeks later, she arrived at a mining moon near the Orion Spur, another distress call. This time, it was a group of terraformers trapped under a collapsed dome. She dug them out with the Kethra's grav lifters, treated their injuries with Jara med gel, and stayed until their rescue ship arrived. Then came a refugee convoy near the Helix Nebula, ambushed by pirates. Vela scared them off with a single warning shot and escorted the convoy to safety. Each time she left quietly, never asking for thanks, never staying long. But word began to spread. Whispers of a shadow ship, piloted by a 4-armed alien who fought for the weak. Some called her the Violet Guardian. others the mercy of the stars. Back on Earth, years had passed. Lily now ran the rescue center. One evening, as she walked the beach, she found a smooth black stone with a silver vein running through it, unlike any rock she'd ever seen. She picked it up. It hummed faintly, warmly. She kept it on her windowsill where the morning sun touched it first. She never knew it was a gift. A piece of the Kethra's hull, sent through a secret relay by Maeve, who had traded stories with a visiting Earth trader. Meanwhile, deep in Jara space, the High Council debated. Reports of Vela's actions had reached them, not as treason, but as something harder to dismiss. Proof that compassion could be strength. A young Jara scholar named Tyela began to question the doctrine in quiet circles. If a human can inspire mercy in one of us, she wrote, perhaps they are not dangerous, perhaps they are teachers. The idea spread like a quiet fire. Vela didn't know this. She sailed on, answering calls, saving lives, learning what it meant to be more than a soldier. She planted no flags, claimed no worlds. But in every life she touched, she left a seed. And seeds, given time, grow. One evening, as the Kethra drifted past a newborn star, Vela opened the data chip Maeve had given her. She selected a new coordinate, a signal from a frozen moon where a research team was stranded. Their message was simple. Cold, dark, but we're still here. She smiled. Then you will stay here, she whispered, and live. The engines hummed, the stars blurred, and the Violet Guardian flew on, not toward an end, but toward another beginning. The frozen moon of Nix 7 hung in the black like a pearl dipped in frost. Its surface gleamed under the light of a dying red star, and its thin atmosphere crackled with static. Deep in a buried research dome, 6 humans huddled around a failing heater, their breath fogging the air. Their ship was crushed under an icequake. Their comms were dead. Their food would last 3 more days, but they sent a signal anyway, not because they thought anyone would hear, but because hope, even when thin, was still hope. Vela heard it. The Kethra dropped from warp like a falling leaf, silent and smooth. She scanned the moon quickly. No threats, no patrols, just cold and silence. She landed half a kilometer from the dome, extended thermal conduits, and sent a soft pulse through the ice. I am here. Hold on. Inside the dome, Dr. Claire Mitchell looked up from her logbook. Her fingers were numb, her lips chapped, but her eyes widened. Someone's out there. Her team gathered at the viewport. Through the ice-fogged glass, they saw it. A sleek black ship, veins of silver pulsing like a heartbeat. No markings. No weapons visible. Just presence, a ramp lowered. A figure stepped out. Tall, indigo-skinned, with 4 arms and eyes that held galaxies. Claire opened the airlock, heart pounding. Who are you? Vela, she said simply. I came to help. Over the next 2 days, Vela repaired their life support, melted ice for fresh water, and used Zara biowarmers to restore circulation in frostbitten limbs. She spoke little but listened much. Claire told her about their work, studying extremophiles that lived in subglacial lakes, life that thrived in darkness and pressure. They don't ask to exist, Claire said, they just do. And they're beautiful, Vela understood. Life did not need permission, only space to grow. Before she left, Claire gave her a small vial. It's a microbe from the lake. It glows when it's happy. Maybe keep it as a reminder that life finds a way. Vela accepted it. The vial pulsed faintly in her palm, soft blue light dancing under her indigo skin. Back in space, she studied the microbe. It reminded her of Earth's oceans, of Lily's turtles, of Eli's drawing. Small things, quiet things, but full of wonder. Her journey continued. She followed signals like breadcrumbs across the rim, some real, some faint echoes. She rescued a botanist stranded on a toxic world, her greenhouse the only green for light years. She shielded a school ship from a solar flare, its cargo of children sleeping through the danger. Each time she gave aid and vanished, leaving behind not fear but stories. But the Jara had not forgotten her. A hunter ship, the Vorek, tracked her through energy signatures and relay leaks. Its commander, Drell, was once Vela's mentor, a strict believer in purity, now hardened by age and loss. He saw her mercy not as growth but as infection. She spreads weakness, he told his crew, and weakness must be cut out. The Vorik ambushed the Kethra near the asteroid belt of Serath. Drell opened a channel, his face grim on the view screen. Vela, you have shamed the Jara. Return with me. Face judgment with honor. Vela stood calm. Honor is not in blind obedience, Drell. It is in doing what is right even when it is hard, right? He spat. You protect chaotic life. You defy the Council. You are no longer one of us. Perhaps I never was, she said softly. Drell attacked. The Vorik fired ion lances, tearing at the Kethra's shields. Vela dodged, weaving through asteroids using their gravity to mask her movements. She refused to return fire. She would not kill her own. But Drell pressed harder. He targeted the Kethra's engines, then its life support. Surrender or die alone in the dark. Vela knew she could not win by fighting. So she chose another path. She broadcast a message not to Drell but to his crew. She sent them everything. Olivia's plea, Lily's care, Maeve's courage, Claire's microbes, Eli's drawing. She showed them the faces behind the dangerous life. She showed them kindness in action. For a moment, the firing stopped. On the Vorik, a young officer named Jorik watched the feed. He had never seen humans before, only reports calling them violent, unstable. But here was a child sharing bread, a doctor saving enemies, a woman singing to sea turtles. He turned to Drell. Commander, is this true? Drell's face darkened. Lies. Emotional tricks, but doubt had taken root. Vela saw her chance. She powered down her weapons completely. I will not fight you, Drell, but I will not stop helping them. If you destroy me, you destroy proof that compassion works. Silence stretched. Then from the Vorik's comms, a new voice. Jorik, we withdraw, Commander. This is not right, Drell roared, but it was too late. His crew refused to fire. Mutiny flickered in their eyes. The Vorik turned and fled into warp. Vela exhaled, her silver markings dimming with relief. She had not won a battle. She had planted a seed. Months later, that seed bloomed. A Jara science vessel, the Alaris, made contact with a human colony on the edge of the Perseus Arm. Instead of scanning for threats, its commander, Tayela, the young scholar, asked to speak. She brought gifts, medical nanites, clean energy schematics, data on cosmic radiation shielding. The humans, wary at first, welcomed her. They shared food stories, music. Tayla listened, wide-eyed. As a girl played a flute made of reed, she recorded everything. When she returned to Zara space, she did not file a threat report. She filed a proposal. Coexistence is possible and beneficial. The council was divided. Some called it heresy, others wondered. Meanwhile, Vela received a new kind of signal, not a distress call, a greeting. It came from Earth. Olivia, older now, her hair streaked with gray, stood in the same room, rain still tapping the window. Vela, she said, smiling. We don't know if you'll hear this, but we wanted to say thank you. Because of you, we changed. We united. We healed our world. We reached the stars not to conquer, but to connect. Behind her, a screen showed human ships docking with alien vessels. Not Jara, but others. The Kael, the Mirath, even the once hostile Vorl. Earth was no longer alone. It was part of a growing network of species choosing cooperation over fear. You gave us time, Olivia said, and we used it well. If you ever come back, you'll always have a home here. Vela watched the message 3 times. Tears, real warm tears, slid down her cheeks. She had not known Jara could cry, but she did. She recorded a reply, though she knew it might never reach them. Thank you for proving that hope is not foolish. Keep building. Keep caring. I am proud to have stood for you. She stored the message in the Kethra's core, a treasure more valuable than any weapon. Her path soon led her to a war zone. 2 species, the Kael and the Mirath, had fought for centuries over a resource-rich nebula. Both were exhausted, their young dying, their worlds scarred. Neither would yield. Vela arrived not with force, but with silence. She parked the Kethra between their fleets and broadcast a single image. Earth, green and whole, teeming with life that once tore itself apart, now thriving together. Then she sent data, peace treaties, shared resource models, joint science projects from human archives. For days, nothing happened. Then a Kael commander hailed her. Who are you to show us this? One who once believed war was the only answer, Vela said. Until I saw another way. The Miroth responded next. Is it real? Can we trust it? You must decide, she said. But know this, the humans were worse than you, and they chose peace. Not because they were perfect, but because they loved their children more than their pride. Weeks later, the Kale and Miroth signed a truce. They called it the Violet Accord, named for the mysterious guardian who showed them a mirror. Vela did not stay for the celebration. She never did. But she felt it in the quiet hum of the stars, the shift, the soft turning of fate. One evening, as the Kethra rested near a quiet nebula, Vela opened the vial from Claire. The microbe glowed brighter than ever, swirling in its liquid like a tiny galaxy. She placed it beside Eli's drawing and the black stone from Lily. Her ship was no longer just a war vessel. It was a home, filled with small precious things that spoke of life's stubborn, beautiful will to continue. She thought of all she had seen, the fear, the pain, but also the hands reaching out in the dark, the voices saying, wait, the hearts choosing kindness when cruelty was easier. She was no longer Commander Vela of the Jara. She was something new, a bridge, a witness. Guardian of becoming, and somewhere in 1,000 worlds, people told stories of a four-armed being who sailed the stars not to judge, but to believe. That was enough. As the nebula bloomed around her in colors no human eye could see, Vela set a new course, not toward a destination, but toward the next call, the next hope, the next chance to say, you are not alone. And the stars, for once, seemed to smile back. The call came from the edge of known space, beyond the last mapped pulsar, in a region humans called the Hush, a stretch of void where signals died and stars seemed to hold their breath. The message was faint, broken, repeating in a loop. We are the last. Please remember us. Vela did not hesitate. She turned the Kethra toward the Hush, her silver markings dim with sorrow even before she knew who was speaking. She had learned that silence often held the deepest pain. After 17 days of travel, she found them. Not a planet, not a station. A single generation ship, ancient and scarred, drifting without power. Its hull was patched with metal from a dozen worlds, its name long faded. Scans showed life signs barely. 1 adult, 3 children. She docked gently and entered through a manual airlock. Inside, the air was cold, stale, but clean. The corridors were lined with murals, paintings of oceans, forests, cities under twin suns. A lost world. In the central chamber, a woman sat wrapped in thin blankets holding a child no older than 5. 2 older children huddled nearby, eyes wide but quiet. The woman's face was drawn, her skin pale, but her gaze was steady. You came, she whispered. Vela knelt, careful not to loom. I heard you. The woman introduced herself as Nora. Her people were the Ilari, once a thriving civilization near the Andromeda Fringe. A plague, silent, swift, had swept through their worlds. Not a war, not a weapon. Just bad luck, cosmic cruelty. They fled in this ship hoping to find help. But help never came. One by one, the adults died. Only Nora remained, kept alive by will alone. I just want them to live, she said, stroking the little one's hair. They've never seen real grass, never heard birds, never tasted fruit from a tree. Vela's chest ached. She had seen death before, but this quiet, loving desperation cut deeper. She activated the Kethra's medbay and brought them aboard. She gave them warmth, food, clean water. She ran diagnostics. Nora's body was failing, her immune system gone. She would not survive the week, but the children were strong. That night, Nora asked to speak with Vela alone. When I am gone, she said, will you take them? Teach them? Not just to survive, but to remember who we were? Vela looked at the children, Kai, 10, Mika, 8, and little Ren, who clung to a carved wooden bird. I will, she said. I swear it, Nora smiled. Then I can rest. 2 days later, she passed in her sleep, her hand in Vela's. Vela buried her in space, wrapped in a shroud woven from a Lari cloth the children found in a chest. They sang a song, a simple melody about stars guiding lost souls home. Vela added it to her memory core, next to human lullabies and Jara hymns. The children grieved, but slowly they began to trust. Kai asked questions about the ship. Mika loved the glowing microbe in its vial. Ren carried his wooden bird everywhere, whispering secrets to it. Vela taught them what she could. Basic engineering, star navigation, the names of constellations. But more than that, she listened. She let them tell stories of their parents, their home, their dreams. She did not replace their family. She became their guardian, and in doing so, she found something she never expected: belonging. Months passed. The Kethra became a home filled with laughter, arguments over chores, bedtime stories, and the soft sound of children breathing in sleep. Vela painted murals on the walls, Ilari forests beside human cities, Jara spirals woven with sea turtles and stars. She showed them Earth through old videos. They loved Lily's turtles most of all. "Can we go there someday?" Mika asked. "Maybe," Vela said, "if they'll have us." But peace never lasted long. A distress signal broke through. A human freighter, the Bright Star, caught in a gravity well near a black hole's edge. Its engines were failing. Crew of 12. No weapons. No hope. Vela knew the risk. The hush was watched now. Slavers, pirates, even Jara hunters avoided it, but not all. "Still," she said coarse. "We're coming with you," Kai said firmly. "It's too dangerous," Vela replied. "We're not babies," Mika added. "We can help." Ren just held up his wooden bird. "It's brave." Vela saw their determination, and she remembered Olivia's words. "Trying matters." "Then you help from the ship," she said. "No leaving the Kethra." They agreed. The Bright Star was spinning fast, caught in the black hole's pull. Time dilated. Every second stretched. Vela used the Kethra's gravlifters to stabilize the freighter, while Kai rerouted power from their own systems. Mika monitored the crew's vitals through remote drones. Ren sat at the comms and whispered, "You're going to be okay," over and over as if his voice could hold them safe. Miraculously, it worked. The freighter broke free. Its captain, a woman named Dana, wept when she saw the Kethra. "We thought we were dead." "Not today," Vela said. Dana offered supplies, fuel, gratitude. But more than that, she offered news. "Earth's forming a new alliance," she said. The Unity Pact. Humans, Kale, Mirath, even some Jara scholars. They're building a council, a place for voices, not weapons. Vela's heart stirred. "And they accept outsiders?" "They're looking for you," Dana said gently. "They call you the heart of the pact. They say if you come, others will follow." Vela looked back at the observation deck, where the children watched, hopeful. Maybe it was time. But fate had other plans. As they prepared to leave, sensors screamed. 3 ships dropped from warp, Jara design but altered, blacker, sharper, no council markings. These were hunters, extremists. The Silence Blade, a faction that believed Vela's mercy was a disease to be burned out. Their commander hailed her. His voice was cold steel. "Vela, you have corrupted the pure. You shelter alien filth. Surrender the children and your ship. Your death will be quick." Vela stood tall. "These children are not filth. They are the future. Then die with them." The Silence Blade attacked. Vela shoved the Kethra into evasive maneuvers, shields flaring. She ordered the children to the safe pod. "Go now, no," Kai shouted. "We fight with you." "Your fight is to live," Vela said firmly. "That is how you honor your people. Now go." Tears in their eyes, they obeyed. But as the pod launched, the Silence Blade fired on it. Vela's world went red. She turned the Kethra like a blade itself, engines screaming. She did not hold back. She fired disruptors, overloaded their shields, rammed one ship with brutal precision. She was no longer just a guardian. She was a mother defending her young. The battle was short, brutal. 2 ships destroyed. The 3rd fled. Vela raced to the pod. It was damaged but intact. The children were shaken, bruised but alive. She held them close, her forearms wrapping them in warmth. "You're safe," she whispered. "You're safe." Back on the Kethra, Ren looked up at her. "You were scary." "Sometimes," Vela said, "love has to be strong." They returned to the hush, hidden in a nebulous fold. Vela knew they could not stay. The Silence Blade would return, and next time, they might bring the council. But the children needed a home, a real one. She made a decision. She sent a message, not through open channels, but through the rebel network Maeve had given her. It was simple: "I accept. Bring the Unity Pact to the hush. I will meet you at the Twin Quasars." Weeks later, a fleet arrived, not warships. Transports, science vessels, medical cruisers. Flying the new flag of the Unity Pact, A circle of stars, each a different color, surrounding a single green world. At the lead was a familiar face. Olivia stood on the bridge of the envoy ship, older, wiser, her eyes bright with tears. Beside her was Maeve, now a diplomat. Behind them, Taela, the Jara scholar wearing a silver pin shaped like an olive branch. They met on a neutral platform between ships. "You came?" Olivia said. "You asked?" Vela replied. Taela stepped forward. "The council is divided, but many now see the truth. Your actions. They changed us." "Not me," Vela said. "Them." She gestured to the Kethra, where the children watched from the viewport. Olivia smiled. "Then let them be our first students. Our first bridge." The Unity Pact offered Vela a place not as a soldier, not as an exile, but as a teacher, a guardian, a founding voice. They would build a school on a neutral moon, where children of all species could learn together, where stories like Lily's, Maeve's, Nora's, and Eli's would be taught as lessons in courage. Vela agreed. On the day they left the hush, the children stood with her on the Kethra's ramp. Kai carried a data slate full of Alari history. Mika held the glowing microbe vial. Ren clutched his wooden bird, and a new one carved by Vela, with 4 arms and violet eyes. As the fleet turned toward the Pact's new home, Vela looked back one last time at the quiet void. She had sailed alone for so long. Now she sailed with family. And far away on a blue-green world, Lily stood on the shore watching the sunset. In her hand, the black stone hummed softly, warmly, as if echoing a heartbeat from the stars. The galaxy was still vast. Dangers remained. But for the first time in history, many species chose to face them together, not because they were perfect, but because they believed in each other. And in the center of it all, quiet and strong, sailed the Violet Guardian, no longer running, no longer hiding, but leading with open arms and a heart full of hope. The stars watched, and for the first time they did not feel so cold. The Unity moon orbited a quiet yellow star, far from old borders and ancient grudges. It was green, gentle, with wide meadows, clear rivers, and skies that shifted from dawn gold to twilight violet. Here the first school of the Unity Pact took shape, not a fortress, not a lab, but a village of learning. Domes of glass and living wood rose among the trees, connected by paths lined with flowers from 100 worlds. Vela stood at the edge of the central plaza, watching children play. Human kids ran with Kale Young, their 6 limbs tangled in laughter. Miroth toddlers floated gently above the grass, chasing bubbles blown by Alari hands. And there, near the river, Kai taught a group how to carve wooden birds just like wrens. It had been 2 years since they left the hush. 2 years of building, healing, teaching. Vela no longer wore her old Jara armor. She dressed in soft robes woven from Unity silk. Blue for earth, silver for Jara, green for life. Her silver markings now glowed with calm, steady light, no longer flickering with fear or doubt. She was home. But peace, she had learned, was not the absence of trouble. It was the presence of care, and care required constant tending. One morning, a new ship arrived, not part of the pact, not hostile, just lost. It was small, battered, its hull scorched. Scans showed one life sign. Vela went to meet it alone. The ramp lowered slowly. A figure stepped out, tall, lean, wrapped in a tattered cloak. When the hood fell back, Vela froze. It was Kor, her old second-in-command, the one she had locked in stasis, then left behind. He looked older, thinner. His silver markings were dull, his eyes shadowed. He carried no weapon. "Only a small case, Vela," he said, voice rough. She did not move. "You should not be here." "I know," he said. "But I had to come." He opened the case. Inside were data crystals, hundreds of them. "These are from the Jara archives, forbidden files, records of purifications, and the lives erased. I stole them." Vela stared. "Why?" "Because I saw what you saw," he said quietly. "After you left, I reviewed the Earth footage again. Not as a threat assessment, as a story. I watched Lily. I heard Olivia, and I felt something." He looked down. "I tried to speak, to question. They called me corrupted. I fled. The silence blade hunts me now too." He met her eyes. "I don't ask for forgiveness. Only a chance to help. To bear witness." Vela studied him. The old Kor would never have bowed his head. Would never have admitted feeling. "This was not the same being." She nodded. You may stay, under watch. But you will teach. You will tell the truth of what was done, so it is never done again. Kor bowed deeply. Thank you. His presence stirred unease among the Jara students, but Taylor supported him. Truth is the first step to healing, she said. Soon, Kor began giving quiet lectures in the History Dome. He spoke of loss, of error, of the cost of blind certainty. Students listened. Some cried. Some argued. All learned. Vela watched from the back, proud not of his past but of his change. Life on the moon flowed like a river, steady, sometimes swift, always moving forward. Vela taught ethics, not tactics. She showed students how to listen before judging, how to help before commanding. Ren, now 7, had become a quiet leader, always the first to share, the first to comfort. But one day, a message came that shook the moon to its core. Earth was under threat. Not from war, not from aliens. From itself. A faction of old-world powers bitter about the Unity Pact's rise had activated a doomsday protocol, a network of ancient weapons hidden deep in the crust, designed to trigger global quakes, tsunamis, atmospheric fire. They called it the Final Reset. Their message was clear. No more sharing. No more weakness. Earth for Earth alone. The Pact Council convened an emergency session. Panic flickered in the room. Some wanted to send warships. Others feared intervention would make it worse. Vela stood. They are afraid, she said. Not evil. Fear makes people destroy what they cannot control, but Earth saved itself once. It can again, if we remind them who they are. She proposed a different plan. Not force. Memory. With the Council's approval, she gathered students, Human, Jara, Kale, Miroth, Ilari, and prepared a broadcast. Not a demand. A gift. They compiled stories. Lily releasing turtles. Olivia's plea. Maeve's stand. Claire's microbes. Eli's drawing. Ren's wooden birds. They added voices from every corner of Earth. Farmers, teachers, artists. Elders saying one thing, we choose life. Then Vela added her own voice. Earth, she said, you taught me that mercy is strength. Now let us return the lesson. You are not your fear. You are your hope. Remember, the broadcast was sent on every frequency, beamed directly into every screen, every speaker, every public space on the planet. For 3 days, silence. Then, reports came in. Soldiers refused orders. Engineers sabotaged weapon links. Citizens flooded the streets, not with anger, but with candles, songs, photos of loved ones. The faction collapsed under the weight of its own isolation. Earth chose peace. Again. On the Unity moon, the students cheered, but Vela wept quietly in her garden. She had not saved them. They had saved themselves. And that was the greatest victory of all. Weeks later, a visitor arrived. Lily. She stepped off the shuttle, older, her hair sun-streaked, her eyes kind. In her hands, she carried a box. They met by the river where Kai and Ren were teaching Miroth kids to skip stones. You came, Vela said. I had to, Lily replied. She opened the box. Inside were sea turtle hatchlings safe in a biopod. We're starting a new program. Unity conservation. Turtles, whales, forests, all life, all worlds. She looked at the children playing. You built something beautiful. We all did, Vela said. Lily handed her one turtle. This one's yours. Name her. Vela held the tiny creature, its shell gleaming like starlight. I will call her Hope. That night the moon held a festival. Music from 100 cultures filled the air. Food, stories, dances. Kor played a Jara flute, soft, mournful, then rising into something new. Ren placed his wooden bird on the central altar beside Eli's old drawing and Claire's microbe vial. Vela stood with Lily, watching the stars. Do you ever miss the void? Lily asked. Sometimes, Vela said. But not as much as I love this. She looked at the children, her children, Earth's children, the galaxy's children, laughing under the twin moons. They were not perfect. They argued, made mistakes, got scared, but they reached for each other. Always. That was enough. Far away, on Jara homeworld, a new generation rose. They questioned. They dreamed. They whispered of a violet guardian who proved that love could be a weapon stronger than fire. And in the quiet corners of the galaxy, other lost souls heard the stories. They sent signals, not distress calls. Invitations. We want to join. The Unity Pact grew. Vela knew the work would never end. There would always be fear, always be those who chose walls over bridges, but now there were more who chose hands. As the festival lights dimmed and the stars brightened, Vela walked back to her dome. On her windowsill, the black stone hummed. The microbe glowed. The turtle slept in its pod. She sat, tired but full. She was no longer just Vela of the Jara. She was Vela of the Unity. And her story, once a tale of exile, had become a song of home. The galaxy turned. Life continued. And for the first time in eons, it turned not toward silence but toward song.